We went to an event yesterday where it was a business event, where majority of people were business owners like you, but some of the people did not know you, right? And some people did. Some people did. It was like a room of 50-50, so 50%. But the question is, how do you deal, or how would you suggest, or how would you advise to someone that was mainstream at a certain point, maybe because of location or maybe because of certain things, right? But maybe they move somewhere else and they're not mainstream in that place where people recognize them. How would you advise that person to adjust to that new reality?
Well, it's a deep one, but out of my own experience, I would say it starts from you building your you, in the sense that, especially for those who are just about to get into the entertainment industry, who are about to build a big career, and or have it at the back of your mind, is not going to be as shiny and gloomy as always. You can get to that point where you are reigning, everybody wants to talk to you, everybody wants to take pictures, everybody wants to see you, want to see you everywhere. It will always die down. Mm-hmm. That's one of the major advice that you get when you get into the industry. So it's better you start building it from before you enter than when you have entered. Because some people have had terrible experiences like that. Mm-hmm. And in situations like just the example you gave about the event we went for yesterday, it was a business atmosphere. Yes, it's not that they couldn't recognize me, but first of all, let's ask who are the people who were there. Mm-hmm. There were multicultural people who were there. There were white people there. There were Hispanics. There were, those ones don't know who Jedi is from anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. So first of all, we removed that category out of the maybe 20 of us. Another maybe 5, 6, or 7 are out. Mm-hmm. Even out of the remaining ones that are Africans, not all the Africans there know who Jedi is from Nigeria. We remove another 3. Then amongst the Nigerians, do you know, it was when I moved into the United States, I discovered that it's actually a different world entirely.
How so?
Do you know there are people who are Nigerians, mm-hmm. right, in particular, that still don't know some artists?
Okay.
As at that time, 2000 was it 8 or 9? I think it was 8 or 9. The band was already building his prominence because it started in 2004 and it got a hit. Then it was still in his prime. Two-Face was in his prime. There were people I spoke to and they didn't even know who the band was, who Two-Face was.
What do you think has changed that over the years?
Well, as at that time, there's a limit to the exposure of what is happening back home that you can have here. Okay. The bridge now is the whole social media. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So, funny thing, this happened 3 days ago. There was a friend of mine I was talking to and was telling me she doesn't know who Dunsi is.
Dunsi Oyekan?
Yes. I tried to start mentioning songs.
Does she listen to gospel music?
I'm not sure if she does.
Or maybe that's the issue there.
But not really.
No, because
it's just like asking someone in church, do you know who Burna Boy is?
They might not know.
They would.
No, they might have heard the song, but they don't know who Burna Boy is.
Trust me.
No, what I'm saying is,
they would.
No, they might not know who the artist. They might not know the artist's name is Burna Boy, but they might have learned last. I'm being honest.
They know.
There's how many Christian songs that you might know off the top of your head, but you don't know who actually sang it.
You're right, but I'm
saying, if you're talking about the artist,
yeah.
If you're saying that she doesn't know any of the songs, that's a whole different.
I picked Dunsi because of the prominence in the gospel faith, right? Mm-hmm. But they're also in the particular secular field. They know who Dunsi is.
I don't know about that. I could say Sinach because of Waymaker. Waymaker became so big that even you have so many people singing a song now. Doesn't matter which song. Dunsi songs are not sang in American churches. I don't know which Dunsi songs in man. If you have to think that.
Funny enough, if it's that one, Sinach's one was already being sung in American churches before they know her face, who she was.
So people didn't know who. People didn't know
happens.
Who. That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna go with that argument,
it happens.
People don't know who Sinach is, but they know the song Waymaker. Yeah.
So back to what I was saying, there were people who, even the few that knew me, had to introduce me to some people because they didn't know who I was. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. As at that time we were prominent, we didn't really have access to the only social media that was either MySpace or Facebook was just bringing up. YouTube was just about to go, I think just came out, but it wasn't as big and prominent as it is now. Yeah. So I always advise the young ones who are getting into the industry, go there with the right character build up. Like, be yourself. It is blooming now doesn't mean to bloom always. because the attention span in the world now is this small.
When you say be yourself, sorry if you don't mind me catch. I'll let you finish. The attention span is this small, but keep going.
Is this small. So the you they know now, as soon as another person comes up there, the attention is gone. That is why on the social media feed, if you can't get someone's attention in 5 seconds, you have an issue with your post. So working with that metrics is how you start being yourself. Let them know you for who you are. So whether it is high or it is low, they just know you for who you are. Because there are some people, when it's high, you can't even near them. You can't touch them. His nose, they'll used to greet you. Do you understand? But when it's low...
Yeah, but my question goes back to what you said earlier about being yourself. At what point do you evolve?
That's an individual discovery.
What I'm saying is evolve in the sense that being yourself might be relevant today.
Yes.
But tomorrow, being yourself might not be relevant.
In what sense?
Let's say if the nature of what you do, there's some people where take on like this bad boy image. Like they're the contrarian. They're the ones that everyone hates.
Yeah.
The image that comes to my life, in my mind, is like a WWE. Where this guy's image is supposed to be whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you now find a way to now pivot to now have the audience start to like you. So you change. Can't artists do that and
Not
evolve?
Really. Not really, because every definition of art is specific to itself. Being a star as a wrestler is different from being a star as a boxer.
No, it's just a general thing.
Yeah, but I mean, using the illustration you give is, for example, now because Ultimate Warrior was playing a real different rival to Hulk Hogan, who is the favorite, never meant it was always like that. But people just loved him for that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's different from you're a boxer, you're a boxer. You're a basketballer, you're a basketballer. And I'm still using that area of sports to define it. Now, if you come to be an artist, you want to be showing bad boy and all, if that is the image that I sell, be ready for the sacrifice to portray it. But at the end, it's not on you to still know what you can evolve into and build for yourself.
Okay, so my question
You know it affects some actors.
Oh, certainly.
Because some actors...
Typecasting.
Yes. Some actors are seen in a particular way. And then it's difficult for directors to now cast them in another way. So it goes back to what I said before. It's an individual experience where you now have to take the task to evolve. Look at The Rock. He did so well as a star in WWE, right? But then he moved into acting. And acting has portrayed him to a certain extent. And from there, he became an executive producer, owning his own production company, and then started producing movies. He has been evolving. Look at Shaquille O'Neal, Magic Johnson. They were at their prime. And after then, they had to evolve. How? They got into business.
Okay, if I was to use that example of artists, right? I can't remember this young guy's name. His name is, but he was the main actor for Everyone Hates Chris.
This young guy, I forgot his name,
but
I know
he's on that TV show where
he's now on a TV show, school teacher,
something elementary. Sorry, I can't remember the name. He talked about there was a time where he had to step aside to not be cat-tested. So he stepped aside from Hollywood for a few years and let the whole Everyone Hates Chris kind of magic die in order for him to come back and be able to be something else and not to be viewed as Everyone Hates Chris. As an artist, how do you deal, for lack of better terms, that valley moments? When you know the end picture, but in this moment, you have to, for lack of, like Americans say, eat crow. You have to be humble. And that, knowing that I'm still going to come back up, but in this moment, I need to pipe things down.
Yeah. There are times like that in an artist's life. You have to experience that moment that... Don't let it get to your head. Calm down. And not all survive, not all go through it, but they still try and make something out of it. To his own definition, he had to step out and just relax for a bit for the whole thing to die down. If I were in his shoes, possibly I would have done that. But my next step, I'll just be consistent in playing different roles. It might take me a lot. I might be able to take some crap that on a normal day I wouldn't take. But to be able to build it in a point whereby I'm building out their attention from the stigma stereotype you have of me. You are now seeing him in different ways, which is what Rock did. I'm using him as an example again. You saw him in Scorpion King. You saw him in Mummy. You saw him in the movie he did with Kevin Hart as a CIA operative.
With Princess Diary.
You even saw him in a movie that he played a fairy.
Yeah. Oh, the one that he was a football player, but his daughter.
He was a football player, his daughter. So he had to keep building different.
Moana.
Thank you. So he had to keep doing it to be able to build that artistry relevance for himself. Kevin Hart, you've known him as a comedian, but he had to evolve also to be an actor and also a businessman this time around.
Can we go personal?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm evolving.
No, not that. How do you separate Jedi from Tosin?
It's difficult because they've been playing with each other for so long, right? But most times,
sorry to cut you off. So I'm able to say this, and then I'll let you speak, so you better understand.
You're still going to cut me again. It's normal.
How do you deal with the convergence of Tosin and Jedi?
Let me ask you, how do you build they know as protocol from church and the regular Olumide as an accountant?
I think it is a struggle. It was been a struggle for a long time. And I think I lost myself. And I think there's a lot of things that I had to learn, which is maturity along the way.
Yeah.
The first thing I had to learn was this. I was so confused in thinking that my service to God was my relationship with God. I had to quickly learn that doing service in church is completely different from
a relationship, yeah,
with God.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you're thinking, I am doing X, Y, Z, and I'm busy. God, you see me busy, right? I had to do that. I also had to quickly realize that there's life after what you're doing. Right? What's the position that you may hold in any institution, either religious or secular, right? Gives you the ability to have doors open. People will look up to you. You will be an example, right? But understand, there's a cost to those things. And because of that cost, you better be ready for what that cost is.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing with me as well. It's some things I had to learn along the way. But one thing that had worked for me from beginning, I didn't let the fame get into my head. That was where Tosin came into the picture. There was a Jedi, but there was also a Tosin. The Tosin was the one that was schooled and built to be a particular kind of person with values. The Jedi was the fame and the entertainment. So the way I will respond to someone who greets me or takes a picture won't be in an artistic way. It will be from a Tosin way. Do you understand? Am I making sense?
Yeah, because I'm relating to myself and realizing that if I was to be true to myself, the first couple of years, it got to my head. I can say that.
Oh, that's how it is.
It got to become a drug because I can literally, because when you were talking, the reason why I kept quiet and I was thinking, because I can literally know the day.
There were conflicts between Jedi and Tosin.
No, I can remember the day that things flipped. I remember that vividly. I remember that like it was like tomorrow. I mean, yesterday, sorry. I remember vividly when things changed. And when things changed, it was like night and day. And it was as if you're going to jump on this train or you can get off on this train. Realistically, everything that has happened in church circles or business circles, whatever it is, either in business meetings or anything religious or just personal life, right? I can say it was God, but I also realized it very quickly, right? You know that passage in the Bible when it says that I put before you life and death.
Choose one.
You can easily choose the wrong thing. God will give you both opportunities. It's for you to choose wisely what you want to go do.
Yeah.
And that choice can go from here to here, and you will be in that valley like quickly. And I had to quickly realize that, listen, this thing is getting to your head. When you want to attend events because you want to be seen. You want to go places where people know you. You want to be referred as XYZ. Oh, that's Jedi. Oh, that's Olumide and he's the PA to whatever it may be, right? And when those things start to get to your head, right, you have to quickly question, are you doing this for yourself?
Yeah, it's part of what also happened to me. Like I explained before, there were times that there were conflicts and I had to consciously train myself, bring in the values of Tosin so that Jedi doesn't take over. Tosin is the average guy. Tosi is the happy guy, the jovial guy, the easygoing guy. Jedi is the famous guy, the status guy.
I have a question. Do you think that your family helped you?
Can I finish?
You can, but
Good.
I thought you were done.
No, I was
Okay.
still talking now.
Okay, my apologies.
No, I'm used to it. I know you will still cut me any day, anytime.
Okay, know what? We'll try it today. You'll be shocked. Keep going.
I know. So, like, for example, if I go to a church, there are times that I hold myself to be like, this is before God. Jedi, calm down. You know that pride of, yeah, I should be, they should call, I should be, but no. So there are times I deliberately visit churches when I'm not invited, even though I know the pastor. That's one. Two, when I go to some programs at churches, I just stay at the back. Oh no, please come. No, I'm okay here. It's not I'm trying to form humility. No, I'm trying to break myself to understand, look, yes, you are still, remember when I said at the beginning, they go hand in hand? Yes, like that. It's just that sometimes the conflicts between both clash a lot. So I have to bring balance to both of them. Even to the point whereby when I got a job at a car dealership during the COVID period, when there was nothing coming in, I was shocked that people still came into the store to buy a car and they were taking pictures with me. Yes! Oh my God, I recognize you. This is please come and take a picture. And I was just, how do you want to form there? Even that's why I'm saying it built me to that point. Because in my early days, I won't be saying, no, I can't take pictures. I can't. No. When you come to me, oh, sure, hi, how are you? So most of them are always shocked, like, is this the Jedi?
Even the high and the low, you still were the normal guy that's want to have.
Exactly. Is what helped me.
And I think that's what helped me too. I think one of the things that helped me a lot was the fact that going through life's challenges, going through major changes in my own personal life, what has helped me, I guess, remain grounded, and I will say this, is shout out to the Almatire crew. When you walk into somewhere and nobody cares about whatever you just did, you get humbled very, very quick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Even Michael Jackson gets humbled.
So that I think that
everyone gets
if you
humbled.
don't have a circle of friends that you can drop everything at the door,
yeah,
and just be you, like one of my very, very close friends, high personality, right? When it's just me and him, and I go over to visit him at his home, he drops everything. It's just me and him.
Oh yeah.
It's not every. But when we step out as soon as we step out the car, the whole world But when we get back in the car, it is just us two.
I believe in every artist, in every brand or star, there is just that one. Let me just limit it to one that you are yourself with. There's just that one.
One person?
Yes.
I think no. I think I disagree. Because that one person, like you said, the reality is, like I said, you are not Jedi to your siblings. You are Tosin. Doesn't matter who Jedi is outside the door. When you step inside their house or you sit down and you guys are having lunch, dinner, you're Tosin. You're not Jedi. Do you get what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. And so, well, let me not make that assumption. That's an assumption. So sorry. Let me circle back. In my perspective, right? It doesn't matter what I do outside, right? It could be business, it could be work, it could be personal, or it could be church, right? When I step into a circle, it's just my family. You know what's the perfect thing that I was going to say? Do you know who humbles us the most? Children. Your children don't care about who you are.
Oh, yeah.
So that was it. There's more than one. Like you will learn.
Oh, yeah.
Like your children.
So my daughter, even though she knows, sometimes, Daddy, are you going to be performing? Daddy, is that an event? But I am still Daddy.
My daughter saw one of my protocol radios and she was so like, oh, this is so cool. She played with it. We went somewhere and I took, the Geo was flying in. So I was like, man, I got to be at this thing. So I went there. So it was my two kids and my nieces. I have them. I couldn't do anything with them. I can't just ditch you guys, right? Let's go. They're like, Daddy, this is boring. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm looking around the room and there's people that are like clamoring just to touch the Geo, like pray for me. My own children are like, Daddy, let's go. Like, did he say anyone's father?
For example, now, I mean, my daughter is the kind of daughter that you can't bring all those things between her and myself.
She
Who are you?
But my daughter would say,
To her, I am daddy. To you, he is daddy.
there's a mentor of mine. His name is Bar Joseph. Shout out to Bar Joseph. And whenever he calls, I'll be like, "How you doing, boss?" Whatever. My daughter was like, "Wait, this time you're calling boss. I'm your boss today. You have to listen to everything I say." So that's what I'm saying. That there's more than we're sorry to get.
No.
There is definitely more than one. There's a group.
That's why I said at least.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that least
Yeah,
part.
at least
Okay.
one.
Okay, sorry, I agree
That
with
there
that.
will be. There will
You
be,
are.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and I think that's what keeps you grounded because I have gone from the highs of highs, right? Even and you experience a low, but I think what keeps you is I think goes back to what you said earlier. When you go from the highs to the lows, right? Is not forgetting who you are.
Oh, yeah.
What got
A lot forget. A lot forget.
the character, the person who you are that got you to that highs of highs is you still have to maintain that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people lose that identity.
There are a lot of artists. Thank God I'm privileged from the Nigerian entertainment industry. A whole lot, quite a good number of the stars today passed right through, like, I know the story. Till they became a star, I know the story. So the people who call, oh, bros, what else, sir? Yeah, good afternoon, sir. But anyway, now they become stars, they're like, yo, what's up? Young. Then now, when the attention is low,
They go to bros.
they go back.
I'm Ross. No, because I agree with you. Because
They go back to the, oh, really?
now you remember me. I think that it's the same thing. Even if you were to take it outside of work, business, or even entertainment, like your industry, and just take it to normal. There's some people who you knew, right, that maybe were struggling college kids or didn't have the means of what it was back then, right? And you helped a couple of times. Maybe you helped pick them up and you dropped them home.
Mm-hmm.
You say, no, let me buy you a meal, right? As soon as they blow, they can walk by you as if right? But let some life circumstance happen to them.
Oh, they're back to.
They'll be like, yeah. So I heard.
It happens a lot. I say I've experienced a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So which means for me who is in the industry to experience such a thing from fellow people in the industry is to tell you how humbling that can be, how adventurous, let me use the word adventurous, it can be. You'll be like, really? So now to yourself, you're like, okay, I think I need to be careful of how so one thing I have come to learn and I've been working on and I'm still working on is I try to make sure whatever I have built for myself, I am going to evolve, and two, I remain relevant. That is why I'm very careful of the things I post. Because the whole world now lives on social media. The whole world is controlled by social media. You say one or two things innocently in a video with people not understanding the context of where you're coming from, vroom. Which means most stars, brands today had to learn how to develop a tough skin. Because the way they come for you on social media, you'll be shocked. You will be blown away. So until you develop that tough skin and you maintain your stance ahead, you can now rebuild something for yourself. But it's a thin line that you have to manage from beginning of who you truly are and who you are called, or who you are, I would like to say made to be,
Destined
or
to
who
be.
you become, or
Destin.
yeah, because I'm trying to differentiate between your real self and value and your artistry self. So I was trying to look for the right word that can define, or right phrase, sorry, to define both sides. It's very important because it's going to guide you through. It's going to guide you through. That fame can never be for as high as Michael Jackson was. There was still a time he wasn't the one reigning. His songs were still, he has done a great job that is still speaking for him for lifetime. But that famous status, it wasn't just like when it was in the prime. It's everybody that experiences it.
I think for me, the way I look at things is this, right? having gone through something that was quite dramatic and quite life-changing, right, is who are you when you drop everything?
That's a tough one.
I think a lot of times, especially as men, we have different titles and we attach ourselves to those titles. You're a husband, you're a father, you are a brother. So you are, whatever it may be, whatever titles are, you are an accountant, you are this, you are an artist, right? But if I was to use your example, you're an artist, you're an MC, you are also a business owner. Do you get what I'm saying? And when one of those pillars falls by the side, you spin out of control because you've attached yourself so much into the identity.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've learned very, very quickly is mental health. Because there's different organizations that I've been privileged to either sit at the board or what's going to be part of, that I've learned over the past couple of years that the reason why suicide rates have gone up in men is because men have lost their identity.
Oh, yeah.
And so those valley moments, you have to remind yourself who you truly are.
Oh, yeah.
And you cannot, my mother always says something to me, you can lie to the world, but don't lie to yourself.
Never.
So a lot of people...
You can't even lie to yourself.
No, a lot of people do.
Oh.
A lot of people do.
They know the truth.
No.
They're just act. I know what I'm telling you.
What I'm trying to say is you can... There's one thing I've seen a lot of times, right? You can create so much of an image that image becomes your reality and you completely forget the truth about who you truly are.
It still reminds them.
Some people know. To you, yes. I've seen it sometimes, it doesn't.
That is what they present to you. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
In their private moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
They know who they are.
Okay, so I'm willing to go with that. So, but the thing is, going back to what I was going to say earlier, that I said earlier, is the fact that in those moments, you have to remember who you are. You have to remember what your foundational truths are. What is the character? What makes... I remember in the lowest of lows that happened to me, right? I had to sit down. Who is Olumide? What has God really, really called you, right? Secondly, what is the vision you have for yourself? What is the vision you have for your children? And you have to be realistic with yourself, right? And whatever is the pain that you're going through, lean into that pain. Don't run away from the pain. If you run away from the pain will meet you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So lean into that pain, right? But always realize the pain is today. It doesn't dictate tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Ray Lewis.
But the pain is a... Sorry, just to add to what you're saying.
Yeah.
The pain has a part to play
just
for your tomorrow.
Sorry to say, but I just wanted to make sure this is noted. You did cut me off, so...
I said to add.
But I was still talking, but you still cut
No,
me off.
your own cutoff was to either give me a question or...
It's okay.
Or counter what I was saying.
Excuse me, sir.
Mine added to yours.
What was the first one you said? Your own cutoff. It's still a cutoff is a cutoff. But thank you so much for approving. Thank you so much. We approve this message and let's move on.
I added it.
But it's still
and
a
mine
cutoff.
is not as common as yours.
It's okay, but one is a one. A sin and a million sins. What's the difference? A sin is a sin. If I slap you once, I only slap you 1,000 times. Is it still a slap? Thank you very much. I appreciate. I just wanted to bring that to note that we're all humans.
No, we're not.
We're all humans.
Oh, are we?
We're all humans. But back to what I was gonna say. I think that back to you have to be realistic with yourself, and I think, especially, I can't speak as a woman. I can only speak as a man. As a man, do not fall into the societal woes of believing what you really a man should be, right? I know men who unfortunately passed away from suicide or had mental health because their wives made more than them. And I'm like, why? But we have these huge anticipations that we carry for ourselves. The other thing is, in your low moments, right? The thing I want to say is, don't, how can I say it in a very nice way?
You want to say it in a nice way?
You will realize who's for you and who's not for you.
Yeah, moments, situations bring that
I think
out.
that God takes people through a high moment, through a valley moment for pruning. You will learn very quickly what needs to be pruned out of your life, what is important. And that moment will be very, very painful. Because that pruning might be your own ego. It might be your own viewpoints. It might be the fact that you're not adaptable. The fact that you realize you don't have great communication skills. The fact that at the end of the day, your vision wasn't really your vision. You just attached yourself to someone else's vision and you were just running a race. The fact that you might not be authentic. Whatever it is, right? You will realize that thing, and that is a very, very painful moment, right? But I think all that goes back to what you said earlier, is in that low moment, are you true to yourself? And are you listening to yourself? And you listen to what God is saying? And for me personally, it took so many different circumstances for me to realize you will be okay. And my father always says something, the fact that the sun will rise tomorrow, your tomorrow will be okay. You know the sun is going to rise. Doesn't matter what you're going to do. The sun is going to rise tomorrow, right? So today's problems are today's problems. Tomorrow, you're going to have another set of
It's
problems.
just that some of those problems last long.
Definitely. I
So
think,
whether the sun shine or not, the problem is still occupying that time.
yeah.
If as at the time the sun rises, the problem disappears.
There you can spot. Ray Lewis, which is the former quarterback for one of the great cities that you lived in, Baltimore.
Okay, I never followed NFL.
Just,
I don't know much about the game. I don't understand the game.
okay, you and I need to, when football season starts, you and I need to
No,
hook up.
but continue with your reference. I'm just
No,
establishing
but
it.
yes, I'm just saying this, that you and I need to maybe go out to eat a couple and watch a couple of football games. We will do that. How did you live in America? How long have you been in America here, JD? 16 or 17 years, at least, at a minimum.
How does that relate to?
How the heck you live in America? You don't understand how NFL
Why
works?
do I have to?
Okay, we'll get distracted here.
No, we can establish it. Why? It's okay to watch the game. It's okay to be a part of maybe
I was gonna
the Super Bowl party and all, but
and say like, how can you be African and not like soccer? there's some Africans that don't like soccer.
there are Americans that don't understand soccer.
No, I was gonna say, how can you be African and not like soccer?
Oh.
I was gonna say, how can you be American and not like NFL? That's what I was trying to get to. But back to what I was saying is, he said, yesterday's gone, tomorrow hasn't happened yet. You only have today. It's a famous quote that I live my whole entire life, and it's telling you that it's okay to be in a valley moment. Everyone has a valley moment. Steve Jobs, people forget, the great CEO of Apple, started Apple. He got kicked out of Apple.
That thing, I don't understand.
How so?
Yeah.
That you guys made a company and they can't kick you out.
Maybe the episode on the session that we're going to discuss business. I
How
need to
you started
realize
business
it.
and then
And they kick me out. It's not different from you're in a
that
marital
they
home.
pays you.
It's not different from
I
you.
created something for all you guys to jump.
Bro, it's
and
not
then
even
you don't kick me
different.
out.
It's not even different from you are in a house you bought. Your family is in the house with you. You pay the bills, and then they first of all tell you sleep on the couch, and then they now tell you bounce out of the house. Your own.
My own house. Are you okay?
Forgive me, I'm an African man. That my orientation is just different. African man, that company tea, the company dies. Even in his grave, the company still is.
The man will not change the name on the VLT.
They can't change the name from that to eternity.
Baba, that thing is
The
lost to my
companies,
father.
when there's family already backing up to continue the line of where source of wealth is coming from.
Yeah.
You want to, who are you?
Yeah.
This one, board of directors, want to vote me out. Do you know, because of that, he actually didn't encourage me to start a business.
Well,
I have started, I have companies, but it took me time, but it's part of reasons why.
yeah, but the way you could do it is you ensure that, like, for example, if you ensure you have the majority shareholders, they still need your vote to vote. So even if they vote, if you see, the issue is this: when you start, if you own 51 and that 51 becomes 50 and it becomes 49, then
I want to own 70. I want to own 70 because when you start counting from 70, 69, 68, 67,
by the time it gets to
before you get to
49, Baba, you're already on your way out.
I'm sorry, I mean, you will stay long.
Well, by that time, but that's just the reality. What do you do in that moment, Jedi? Imagine that. You are the face of this organization.
You know, it's part of what we're saying.
Yeah, you're the face. Well, I'm agreeing. That's what I'm getting back to it. You're the face of the organization. You are, imagine this. You are yeah, because you're entertainment, let's use entertainment. You are the face of Sony Music, right? Or Sony Pictures. You were the one that built it with your bare hands. All of a sudden, they're like, Jedi, we want to change a different direction. Nibu, how? How would you deal with that in that low moment? Because remember,
it's a difficult thing.
Sorry, and I apologize. You see, I asked in a very nice way. I am cutting you off.
I was responding to you.
Yeah,
not I was responding to you. So you're still talking.
But just to give this, so I'll
yeah. I was responding to you.
That's he started Pixar. When he left Apple, he went to go start Pixar.
You're kidding me, Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs started Pixar, and then he came back to Apple. I think Apple bought Pixar, something like that. I can't remember what happened. Something that happened.
He made money then.
But he left. He started Pixar, and then came back to Apple. That's a low moment, and that's what I'm saying. How do you? I'll say my own.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
bro. It's a difficult place. Not everybody can survive it. Not everybody can come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
If to come from a scriptural point of view, there was a part of the Bible that said, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. That was what he had to do. Even in that time, there were people who were broken and that was it. But he decided to encourage himself in the Lord. So sometimes it might just be that little encouragement of, it's going to get better. I won't give up. I'm going to make it. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to make it. At least let it be on record I tried. The effort was put in. I'm telling you.
I think
it's a very...
That must...
Oh, look. If you've enjoyed fame before. You see, someone educated me on something, one of my pastors. If I let me call him my pastor. He said there are 3 angles to a man's life. Even to the point that he has only one of it, he can still dominate.
What do you mean a man? Sorry, you mean like a man, like
a man's life,
sex, like a gender man, or like
average man first before we can generalize man as a human being.
Okay, all right, okay.
Power, fame, and money.
True.
If you have power, you attract money, you can command money, and you command fame.
And once you get the money, you can.
If you have fame, you develop power already because of the kind of people you meet, the kind of places you go, the kind of attention you get access to money.
And if you have money,
you are possessing power already. And if you have money, you can buy power.
And you can buy the fame.
And because you have money, fame will always come to you.
Very true.
So even just one out of the 3 is a long way. Now imagine you having 2, not to talk of the whole 3. So being in that position, and then there's a drop.
I think for me,
I'm telling you, it's a hard. Do you know how humbling it is for me to go say I was going to be working at
a car dealership?
A car dealership?
Oh, definitely must be tough.
It was tough. It's not definitely. It was tough.
I can imagine.
Shirt, tie. I'm resuming every day.
And then seeing the people that you're recharging to be on stage.
Most of the people who were seeing you with honor. Thank God, at least they will still honor you one way or the other. But you have become a regular.
You're not a, for lack of better terms, and I mean this respectfully. You know how in the Roman times they had like the Zeuses, like they viewed you as a god.
Can I even help you and add to it?
Yes, sir.
Think of you being famous in Nigeria and the culture of fame in Nigeria, and you're not coming to America.
Where it's like a psycho fan kind of mentality. Everyone's chasing you, Jedi.
And then you're not in America where it's a different ball game entirely.
Definitely. Because
I remember one day when I was watching Ellen DeGeneres, and there was someone's video that went viral, and she did something to the person when she invited him. She said one statement, and he stuck in me. He said, "I know what it means to get on camera. Like how difficult it is to get your first opportunity." To be on camera. And Hollywood is more respected because it's global. Not like the Nigerian kind of fame. It's global.
Yeah.
So it's a struggle that you left the status as which you were.
Yeah.
And try to build something else. Majority of all the stars and people who move from Nigeria, go and ask. It took a long time for most of them to stabilize.
I can definitely agree. I think
some had to take jobs that they never believed they would take.
I definitely agree with that. I think that's to buttress what you said. the passage that stuck with me was the story of Job. When he lost everything and his own wife was like, curse God and died. And he said, I can't do it.
Don't even get me started with that guy.
Do you get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you lost your children, you lost your wealth, you lost everything. And at the end of the day, I went through a valley moment like that personally. And I talked to myself and I said, what did I do wrong, God?
Job asked the same thing.
It's that same moment that when David said he couldn't hear from God anymore. I'm like, wait, Baba, me and you were talking. I know everyone talks to God in different ways. I'm like, wait, God. Silence. Wait, what? Did I sin? Did I do something wrong? How the heck did I get to this point? How?
Shebi, you are still speaking based on something that possibly happened. Did we ever ask how long was that process for Job?
Baba.
42 chapters.
Well,
Is it 42 or 43 chapters?
It's 42 chapters.
Yeah. Do you know how long before the blessing came?
It's a long time.
Thank you.
Or,
Do you know-
or even you can look at it even on the flip side when the Israelites had gone to Egypt and then it was only supposed to be a short while.
You know, you've just given me a message with this
Right?
discussion.
It's only been a short while, but look at how long they were in slavery. Or look at even their journey from Egypt back to the promised land. It was only supposed to be a couple months and it took so many years.
Did we even look at Jesus?
Right? Jesus' life was only a 30-year ministry.
You know, he was famous.
Yes.
We can't hide it. You know, there was a part of the scripture that he had to run and go and hide somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he was famous.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And in that fame, at a point of decision, the people that you helped, the people you came to save, make happy, bring good news, were the ones that say, no, they chose someone else. They denied you there. Crucify him. Do you know what that's a drop.
And definitely
at that drop, imagine now going to the cross. So the whole pain, even he had to ask God, why have thou? That is how we feel as artists. This is the same way you just said it, God, what happened? What did I do?
And I think
everyone comes to that. See, forget the fame and picture image people
I
bring
call
to
it come to Jesus moments.
Everyone has that moment that they call on God. They, why? What did I do? What happened?
And I think for me, if I was to use my life personally, right, the one thing that drove everything for me was at the end of the day was the reality of knowing that, you know what, the same God that built you up, right, and you've lost everything and you fell, will be the same God that bring you back up.
Yeah.
Life has lessons, right? And I tell myself one thing: what is the lesson that you didn't learn in this season, right? I believe that God opens doors when you've learned the lesson that you're in. I think of life as grades. You cannot jump from third grade to senior year in high school. You have to go to third grade, fourth grade. Yes, there is some time that God will use grace and elevate someone and jump someone. I get it, right? But most times it's steady, steady, steady. God is not a God of, I pray today I'm going to win $100 million that's on the lottery. There's levels to these things. But I think that one of the things that I learned in that low moments was, right, what is the lesson that God is teaching you?
Oh,
because
I don't know, yeah.
if you don't learn that lesson now, how about you learn that lesson later? And when you learn that lesson later, it might be costlier for you and might destroy you. And I think that's back to what I was going to say. Men, wherever you are, be mindful of your mental health. Mental health is real. Mental health should be checked, and have the right circle that you can be vulnerable and tell people what your issues are. There's no point of lying to yourself when you're not mentally good. Be honest with people. I think as men, we're told not to cry. You're told not to show your emotions, right? So we bottle everything up. Learn to talk to someone, right? You're only as good, I think, at the event that we went yesterday. My brother said something that my father always tells us, right? You're only as good as the people around you. And so with that said,
I would say it's okay to be famous. It's beautiful, it's good, but it comes with a price. Be ready for it.
And with that said, I was going to say also, everything that goes up has to come down, but doesn't mean that it will remain down. The same God that took you up will take you back up.
But
at the end of the day, in that valley moment, in that low moment, remind yourself who you are, what your principles are, and like my father and mother would say, remember the family of who you came from. If you remember the foundation of where you came from, right? You remember how to make yourself. You remember how to get yourself back home. With that said, it was a pleasure. It's an honor. Thank you for joining us today.
Peace and blessings.